Life's best moments are best captured by photography and video. You may ask, why photography and video? Because if a photo is worth 1,000 words, video is worth 1,000,000. And GPS photography and video will leave you speechless. GPS specializes in weddings, sports, fitness, and so much more. Book your next shoot today at 910-257-0526 or gpsphotoandvideo.com.
Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. The podcast is brought to you by title sponsor Maximus Posing Suits. Celebrate your inner warrior. Custom competition suits for victory on every stage. MaximusPosingSuits.com. Special thanks to the owner of Maximus Posing Suits, Michelle Bogdan. She is a women's bodybuilder, and ironically enough, this will be her pro debut at the Triple O Dynasty. And speaking of the Triple O Dynasty, joining me now, the man will make sure to get this right, because I don't want to leave anything out. My guest is a two-time Olympian, fitness model, entrepreneur, part owner of Harlan's Elite Customs, Harlan's Elite Fitness, and of course, Harlan Elite Customs, you can get this hoodie that I'm wearing, which is an Amazon's Fitness hoodie, as well as the tanks. She is, of course, a sponsored athlete of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Please welcome IFBB Women's Bodybuilder Pro, Theresa Ivancik.
Hi, everybody.
I'm so glad you could join me. How are you feeling? You're 4 weeks out from the Triple O?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. My posing coach just gave me the routine today, like through a video. So I work with Jen Underwood, and she put together an amazing routine. So I was practicing it today for about 2 hours, and I just sent it over, and we're just kind of like getting all the ducks in a row, like trips booked, hotels booked, dogs getting boarded, like all that nitty gritty stuff is getting done. So I don't have to worry about it.
Good stuff. So, I mean, what's your coach saying? How's that going?
So I just checked in today, actually, and I was waiting to hear from him before I actually got on to the show. And he just texted me. He said, it's the best I've seen you. So we're in a good spot. Nice. And he's like, basically like, suck it up. You're going to be peeled in a couple of weeks. So just doing what I'm doing.
Your coach is Andrew Vu.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your second year working with him, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. How's the chemistry building? I mean, based on what you told me just now, of course, he says you're looking great, best he's ever seen. I mean, that's a huge endorsement. Yeah,
we don't really have like that, like a friendship type base. Like I coached way different than which he's doing in terms of like just conversation, communication. It's basically like kind of like at this point though, as a pro, it's just like, I'm going to give you your plan, do what I say. So that's pretty much where we are. He's very thorough. He knows his stuff. So whatever coach says, like I trust and I do. And then I just communicate with them. And we've been able to understand that you cannot take food, water away from my body because it like just backfires. So we did a lot of like experimenting, obviously last year. And that happens with everybody. So, if you're coaching with somebody, sometimes they're not going to like, hit the nail on the head, like right off the bat, but you just have to like work it through, and then you'll figure out things that like don't work and things that do work.
I got you. So, I mean, this is your 17th year competing, 31st show.
Yeah. They could be feel really old.
You're not old. You are hardly old. But give me the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, like just starting off in the whole thing, like just in a nutshell. Yeah. When I started, I was a figure girl, and there's millions of podcasts out there that explains my entire story, and I'm trying to write a book as you know, but it's take your time, you know what I mean? And I think that like, it's just like, you're going to have all these different things that happen, hiccups. You're going to learn like what hangry is real quick. You're going to learn what fights with the relationship is very quick. People, when you first begin, won't understand what you're doing or why you're acting a certain way. But you stick to your goals and you follow, the plan and you execute and you can make it happen. I took 10 years to get my pro card. I see a lot of people coming up today and they're just like, oh, I want to go pro. Well, it's like paying your dues, learn your body, do the sacrifice, do the different shows. I would definitely have tried to win a lot more amateur NPC shows before I went into the nationals, because nationals, now you're paying $300 every time you go to do a show. But learn your body, trust the journey, trust the destination that you're going to. And I mean, you can really make anything happen. I'm living proof.
And everybody seems to have a story out of trauma, whether it was something to do with their malnutrition or abuse. And that to me really is the definition of an Amazon. You have to go through something to get where you are, and you're a survivor. That's the main thing. And
as you most know, is bulimia, and I did this for 7 years, and it literally took control over my life. Now, a lot of people are going to need that help and that professional help, but I was lucky enough to say, okay, no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to figure this out. I don't feel good. I don't like the daily grind that I'm doing. I just had a woman stop me at the farmer's market the other day. And she said, do you know so-and-so? I said, yes, I do. She goes, hold on, I'm going to come around the counter. She was actually working in the meat department. And she looked at me and she goes, I need help. And she's like, I'm bulimic and I need help. And I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what direction to do. And I literally wanted to break down and cry, because I've been there, but it's getting them to understand things and not trying to like go after it all at once. It's kind of like going through the back door, teaching them that, let's not eat 5 meals a day. Let's eat 2, and then you just slowly work with them. I worked with a girl that was anorexic, same type of thing. You just can't, you gotta be patient with these type of clients, because I want what's best for them. And I mean, these issues do happen 9 out of 10 times. If you ask anybody that competes in bodybuilding, they have some type of eating disorder, body morphia disorder, some type of overweight, some medical conditions that they like wanted to fix. But that's what this is all about, in honesty.
Do you feel like bodybuilding saved your life?
Absolutely, it did. Because if I didn't, I was about 110 pounds, just sick. Like I was tired of the grind. I didn't understand food. I didn't understand that it was like the fuel to the body. So I mean, it was bodybuilding that literally saved me. The research, the talking to people, talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to people. That's how I learned back then. We didn't have anybody. I had to do dial-up AOL and the internet. We didn't have social media. So talk to people, get educated, basically.
Well, talk to me a little bit about the bad of the industry. I mean, because what's important is you are a coach, you are a trainer as well, but give me the downside.
Yeah, so it's one, be prepared for the financing. It is very, very expensive from whenever I first started. I know when my fiance first did this, I think it was like $25 for an NPC card. Now you're up to like 150. Wow. Pros are 275.
$25?
Yeah. And
wow.
And I luckily, have the opportunity and the honor to write for you. So one of the articles that I did write did explain all of the expenses that you do occur. Yeah. You are going to get talked about probably through coaching or other competitors about using PEDs, knowing that the right coach that you have is going to steer you in the right direction. There is life after bodybuilding. So, be sure you understand what you're doing, what you're taking, and how you're feeling, because if you're not feeling right, you need to address that with your coach too, as well, because you need to get off of whatever you're taking.
Talk to me about the ugly, the coaches, where you saw it when you first started out, from where it is to where it is now. I mean, what's your take on that?
It's a lot different because of social media. I would say the number one culprit is social media. It took away from you, like, not wanting to follow up and see who your competitors are. We couldn't have that. We didn't have that. The bashing back and forth between people's physiques and whatnot, we didn't have that before. Coaching, there was just kind of like through the grapevine is literally how you kind of knew people. You couldn't even really research anybody through the coaching. So a lot of it was actually self-taught in the beginning. My fiance will tell you, it was a guru. It was like, I did what Joe Schmo did. And then you just kind of learn what not to do and, what to do. Some coaches will be very, very pushy, with stuff. Horrible communication, steer you in the wrong direction, or not care about your check-ins. You need to like eliminate yourself from them. You need to address the fact and walk away, and try to find somebody that's going to work for you. Because not every coach is going to be the perfect match for the person that you are and the lifestyle that you have, and understanding how that works.
Right. So are you actively coaching while on prep, or you step back to concentrate on
I
yourself as you
step
prepare for the
back.
show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I haven't taken anybody new. All
Right.
these people know that I am always here for them. So I have a lot of people that say, hey, I'm going to take the summer off. They take the summer off and then they come back. But everybody, I mean, I did take a couple new people on, but not much like I used to. I mean, I still have like 10, but they all are my reoccurring clients that I usually have. When I'm not competing, I like to take on, more people, because I like to watch other people change, and, and it's like a project. It's like a canvas, and you get to dial them in and, kind of paint the painting.
You have more lifestyle clients versus competitors, or about even?
I'd say I have more competitors than I do lifestyle right now, but I think I really want to shift gears towards lifestyle, because I feel that there's a lot of people out there that are misinformed or don't understand. We guest speak at colleges and things like that, and we're trying to get out there even more to the general public so they understand our whole format, which is going to be in that ebook that I'm writing. It's literally a page by page of what the consultation that you're going to get from us, explaining everything, breaking everything down, not talking in, doctor's terms. It's very, cut and dry. But yeah, it's just, yeah.
I got you. So Jeff Harlan is your fiance.
Mm-hmm.
You are an author, entrepreneur, part owner of a business. How do you have time? How do you wear all these hats? And of course your dog, but who's taking care of the business while you're out in Arizona?
Mackenzie. She is our top-notch trainer, and my best friend. This girl, she actually walked through the gym. She was one of the first people that walked through the gym. It was not even open, asking what we were having there. And she was, believe it or not, one of my very first clients that I had Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5:30. And she was very scared to come into the gym. That was what this whole thing was. And eventually she texted me one day and said, hey, guess what? I know you canceled, but guess what? I'm in the gym. I went into the gym. Like, my fear's done. So over the lapse of these 10 years, I think in year 8, maybe, we hired her as the trainer, and she's been one of the best trainers we've ever had. She's my sidekick. She helps me with my Canva post. She helps me organize Jeff, because he does not like organization. But he does his share, and I do my share. Like, I do a lot of the books, the banking, all the backbone work that you really don't see that is to run a gym. And he does a lot of the cleaning, and things like that.
Tax day is coming.
Yep.
What do you think is your goal 3 years, 5 years from now? Even this year, do you have yourself on a pitch count as far as how many shows you'll do at the Olympia, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to shut it down?
So my blueprint, believe it or not, I did make a goal, and I did achieve everything that I've ever wanted to do. It started merely just as like being a trainer, and I did that. And then I wanted to own my own gym, and I did that. And then I wanted to be an IFBB pro, and I did that. And then it was like, I want to win a pro show. Okay, I won 3. And then it was like, I want to make it to the Olympia. And now I went 2. So it's like everything that I had set out to do, I went and I did. So for shows, I'm 40. This is kind of technically my blueprint. This is supposed to be the year that I retire. So, I mean, my whole goal is to do just the Triple O Dynasty this year. Hope to God to place. I do not have any backup shows. Just merely the fact of just the expenses that I've incurred with this one. But yeah, it was just supposed to be that one. And I'd like to make it to the Olympia one more time. And then I would probably shut it down. Only because I was thinking about Masters Olympia. I know that's in 2025, so that was in the talks too. But I want to expand my gym. I have the ebook coming out. I have my own personal biography that is getting neglected right now, because I want to get that out. I want to get that to the big screen after it's published. I have a lot of different castings. I want to get into acting and whatnot. So there's a lot of other things that I can't do, because we all know the lifestyle of bodybuilding. You can't do it. Like, I'm stretching, and then you're doing cardio, and then you're doing posing, and then you're training. And I got 2 cardio sessions a day, and it's like massaging. Like, you can't fit it all in. So it's trying to say, okay, like Arnold, like let's go somewhere else. Let's do a different chapter. Let's see what else is out there besides bodybuilding. I will never stay not like lifting. I'll always lift. I'll always eat and look good. but I would get into more fitness modeling and things like that, still coaching and all that jazz.
So it's hard to believe this would be a swan song, but I mean, you never know. You just take it one day at a time. Now I fully believe that you'll be on the Olympia stage in October. So
yeah, I'm hoping. I'm
grinding.
praying. I'm honestly, God, I'm doing everything I possibly can, knowing that, you know, I don't want to walk up on a stage and say like, I know I ate that, or I know I cheated, or I know I did that. I want to know that I did everything I possibly could to bring whatever package I'm going to show you guys on stage in like 4.5 weeks. You know, leave no stone unturned and go for it.
What improvements can you say that you made? And this will be your last fitness question.
Yeah, it's probably the conditioning. You know, we know for a fact, I've had several talks with, you know, some of the judging, and they wait on the leg conditioning every time, I was told. And for some reason, these bad boys are so stubborn. They're just inflamed. I can condition everywhere else, but we all got weak points. You know, we all like, are not going to be 100%. We do have 7 different body parts that we get judged on. But for some reason, it's the inflammation in the legs and the lower half that I could never achieve, which these check-in photos beg to differ. So they're starting to really come in this time, and he's just monitoring them because that's what we know we need to do.
Let's come back to the book. So it's an ebook. How many chapters have you written?
The ebook's about like 40 pages long. I only did like a part 1 and a part 2, but I broke it down into a segment that we used actually in one of your articles, and then really dissected it and stripped it down to like understanding more of the food side. It actually tells you your calculations for how to get to certain caloric intakes. It breaks down your proteins, your carbs, your vegetables, your fats, and then it breaks it down even into massaging, chiropractic, cardio, training, like the whole works.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you say your biography has been written as well?
I have been stuck on page 55, and it's stopped my life. And since I think it was 2008, you know, so I have only made it from, you know, back in my younger days till now. But the whole goal with this is to get Jeff to write his side so we can make a movie. So me bouncing from, you know, a certain section of my life to his certain section of life, and then we go back and forth until we actually meet, you know, and then how it kind of took off from there. And I have an idea about it. I have an outline about it, but he has to do his side too. So we really have to work on this.
So he was your first coach, basically, that got you into bodybuilding.
He was, yeah. He got me out of the whole bulimia, and we did our very first show together. And believe it or not, like in 2000, we did one show, I think in 2007. And then 2008, we were like, hey, we're a couple. Like, and then we've been together ever since, you know, and it was someone just seeing and believing in your dreams, you know, and it was lucky that he did it too. He has 3 American records. He competed in bodybuilding. He's had several gyms in the past, but it's like finding that, you know, that soulmate, that person.
Have you set a date for the wedding yet?
Nope. So I think it was 2019 we were engaged on stage at Linda Murray's Norfolk Pro. And him and I are like one of those people where like we don't really need a piece of paper like to prove anything. And our lives are so busy. Like I've never been on vacation. Like my vacations have all been shows. So that's another thing, like whenever I retire, that's what we're supposed to hope to do, and then go on like the honeymoon and vacation and things like that. So that is a goal. But I do not want the standard wedding. I want to be in a bikini and we're going to the beach. So, and then we'll come back and party.
So a beach wedding?
Yes.
Okay. Is it going to be a pose down at the beach? You have all the competitors,
possibly.
Like all the bodybuilders come, the bikini come out in wellness.
Yep.
That would be great.
Yep.
All right. So I'm thankful that you have been writing for Amazon's fitness magazine, believe it or not, a year. That's crazy. So I wanted to dip into some of the articles. Like the first one was muscularity, femininity, and sensuality. I mean, all of these topics that you wrote on, very provocative. You didn't dodge anything. And I'm just thankful that you did it. And so the first, that was in March, and it speaks for itself. And it's really a hot button topic because, you know, femininity is not on the scorecard, but it is on the scorecard. So tell me a little bit about the article. And everybody needs to go on the website, subscribe, buy the magazine, and of course read the articles. So it's not just a picture book. But talk to me a little bit about that article.
It's basically about like it's bringing like the femininity, like the old school Corey Everson, Linda Murray type look, keeping
Right.
that beauty behind the muscle. Like no one wants to, be out there and be completely Amazonish and kind of look like a guy. That's not
Mm-hmm.
marketable. I mean, we can't market that. And I feel like that's why it had died in the past. And that's why it's taking a big, turn right now, and it went upwards because there is a lot of beautiful girls now that are in the
Right.
bodybuilding category. And it is so refreshing to see because it's almost like, how they always say you go back to those generations, from the past. It's like making a comeback. And that's where I really want it to go because I want it to remain sexy. I want it to remain feminine. I want it to remain classy because it's how you present yourself and it's how you represent the sport as well. And that's what's going to give the sport more notoriety. Us girls all kind of working together, but being that beautiful Iron Sister bunch, that's like lending a hand out to answer any questions too that we want to answer. We have to remember we're pro, but like a lot of people put themselves so far up on a pedestal, they never want to reach their hand down and pull someone else up and help them along too. So that, I mean, it's the whole sensuality and the sexuality of the female muscle, that's where we need to focus on.
The next one, win and you're in. That was May 2023. Point system went away, and it says it like it is. Looking back on that article and the point system going away, was that the right way for right path for the IFBB to take with it when you talk about taking away the point systems?
I mean, I think what they were trying to do is I think that they were trying to bring more quality athletes to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? But the problem that we're having is the women don't have 55 shows to compete at. Like the
Right.
women's bodybuilding, like I'm just saying in states because I sure as hell I'm not going to Spain. I'm not going to Romania.
Yeah.
I can't afford that. So if I'm going to compete, I'm going to compete in the States, and there's only like 5 or 6 shows. And now
I
you're
wish there was more on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you're putting all these people
Pittsburgh.
together, all at one show, and like
Right.
it's luck of the draw. Whether
Right.
you had that poppy physique that stood out, as I was always told from one of the judges, you have to go out on stage and make them look for second. I mean, you have to
Right.
be that tight that you make them look for second. And it's just been becoming very hard because now it's like there's a lot of dreams that are just going to diminish because let's take you got the Olympians. And there's only 3 that get to come back.
Right.
So 2 of the top 5 are going to be in the mix of these 5 or 6 shows that we have to compete at.
Right.
And there's going to be the rest of the Olympia crew that already made it there that is also going to be competing. So if you're a new person coming up to a pro and you're trying to make it to the Olympia, your odds are not in your favor because you're competing against qualified athletes that have been at the Olympia for 5, 6, 7 different times. And it makes it really hard. So I think that the point system does help because then it allows other people to fulfill dreams and work just as hard. And again, the point system really was only based on the top 2 people that had the top 2 points. There really wasn't much more to it, but it gave you a second chance to try harder.
But with the point system, do you feel that competitors were chasing shows?
That I feel could be dangerous. I mean, I do. I feel like especially women, because there's a lot of things that like we can't stay on and shouldn't stay on. And I feel like, that did create an issue because there was a lot of people getting sick or not knowing when to call it quits because it's like gambling. You're like, oh, just one more. Like I was right there, just one more. And then someone else comes in. And I feel like it's more of like an unhealthy thing, but you have to be realistic on the time frames you're choosing these shows. How far apart are they? And do you have enough time to clean out and then get back on an actual prep, and do it all over again and still remain healthy? And that's where, I'm going to preach that I've done that because I've been doing it for 17 years. I have longevity in the sport. Right. I have not once gotten ill from a show, gotten sick from a show, gotten depressed from a show. I've been me. I do the show and then we move on and it's life because I never go that hard that it's even harder to come back out.
And that's the whole point. I mean, you've done it, you got a lot of information to give. So I can't wait for this book to come out because just as a paid consultant, someone comes into you and says, hey, I want to compete, and you just a wealth of knowledge, whether you take them on as a coach or not, you are a wealth of knowledge of 17 years experience and coming back to that.
Yep.
So the next two issues for July and September, and this leads us right into it, the perfect formula, parts 1 and 2 for body transformation. I mean, you already pretty much talked about it, but I want everybody to go out and read this because there's a lot of great content in this. What is the perfect formula?
So the perfect formula is what is branched off of that ebook that I'm making. It, like I said, it basically talks about body image at first, like what we all see when we look in the mirror, that scale is it's just a number. We don't know if it's water, fat, or muscle. We have to be okay with the scale fluctuating because that is either hard-earned muscle coming on and it's not excess fat when you're eating super, super clean. It's teaching the general public, that food is fuel. You can't drive a car on an empty tank of gas. Basically how to get started, whether you're a competitor or a lifestyle person. Like I said, and then it breaks everything down, nutrition wise, things to pick from. You don't eat a diet of things that you don't want to eat. You eat the foods that you like. And then it breaks it down into cardio and like, what's the best training for you? And what do you do for work? Like, are you active? Are you not active? Like that plays a big role if you're going to need cardio or not. What kind of over-the-counter supplements do you need? What are you missing? Or do you take a multi? Do you need D3? Do you need a fat burner? Like there's a lot of different, and this is all trial and error. I can pull a drawer out. I have about 10 different notebooks in there when I first started. I still have them. I wrote down everything. I wrote down the fact I didn't like how I looked. I liked maybe I was bloated, or maybe you're gassy, or maybe you're peeing too much, or you write down everything so you can look back and say, okay, this food didn't work. We need to fix that. So in this whole entire part 1 and part 2, it'll really break it down and give you ideas for types of diets to use and, ways to actually find your perfect formula. So it's basically just finding that missing piece because a lot of people are 90% there and something's just off.
And the thing about this was a long article. You say, hey, Glenn, I need to break this up over two articles or 2 issues. And it's like great reading. So, I mean, everybody's got to check it out. November issue, balance and bodybuilding. Talk to me.
This is my favorite topic, the one that we were just talking about with, being able to balance life, being healthy, being happy, doing your fitness journey, but not neglecting your family, your children, outside life. You can still take your Tupperware with you, but you still can have cheat meals. It's not that you have to eat the same foods every single day. It's balancing your bodybuilding life, but it's also balancing your checkbook because there's a lot of times that you're not gonna be able to do that if you do have a family and you have to have a roof over your head and food on the table for your family. So there's going to have to be a happy medium where, say, okay, honey, I'm only going to do 1 show this year, and then it's agreed upon. And if things need to stop, they stop and everybody's on that same page, but you have to have balance. Like, if I don't ride the Harley, I go crazy because I need I need that air. Like I need the wind, I need the freedom. I just need something away from bodybuilding. And that's like my Wednesdays are my days off. And this is my balance day. So if I want to go clean my car or do something that's totally unbodybuildered, that's what I want to do. I want to keep my mind off of something. And Jeff's always like, you always pick projects. Well, I like projects as long as it's not lifting or doing cardio or stretching. Like you have to have that balance. You do.
And you get pictures of that bike on the July 2022 issue. She's on the cover and she's on that Harley. So loved it. That was a great shoot. Loved driving out there. And which brings me to my next point. When we gonna shoot again? Because I would love to get you on the May cover. I know the time is so we're gonna figure this out.
Anytime. I will make sure I'm ready.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be fine. For those who have never seen you up close, as far as your eyes, that's what struck me. Because I'm like, those blue eyes, like, man.
Everybody asks their contacts, they are completely clear.
They're not.
I'm blind as a bat, but these are clear.
All right, and of course, you pinned the 7th article, which is coming out in the March issue of Amazon's Fitness Magazine, PEDs. Tell me, give them a teaser of what's in that one. I mean, obviously, I've seen it. It's not published yet. But again, all these topics are very thought-provoking, very provocative, and you didn't shy away from anything. You told the whole truth about it.
This is basically saying, like going through a rundown of basically saying that you have the right to say no to anything that a coach is trying to tell you to take if you do not want to take it. There is times where a coach will give you a protocol and not even explain anything to you. This is completely wrong. You can research it. You can ask other, influencers and people that are in the sport, that have been in the sport. Do not go to these new people that claim that they're a coach after winning one show and, doing diets and things like that. It's one that most need for the bodybuilding in order to compete, because like we talked about in the article, it does say, most will go natural in the beginning and they will do 1 or 2 shows without using anything to see what the body's going to do. But then when you see what you're up against and the caliber you're up against, and if you want to excel, you have to start taking something. And that's the problem. It's what is it and how much of it and when to take it. And you need the right coach for that. Now, we use this for specific things, and a lot of the things we do use is also used in the medical world as well. We'll just like say, you got albuterol in an inhaler, and we got clenbuterol for bodybuilding, speeds up the metabolism. So that's just a rough example there. But then we're using this for one thing, where certain people can use it for another, thyroid medication and whatnot. And then you have the older adults that are getting involved in the TRT now. So now you have the TRTs with the levels that are like low, and we want to
replacement.
We want to reboot the body. You're putting your levels back to where they should be. So most of us will lose testosterone, obviously men, at a certain age, and you'll need to put it back. And this isn't to say you're taking anything bad. This is for you to have energy. This is for you to keep your muscle tissue. This is for you to be healthy, keep your immune system up, and feel like a normal human being. So that's mostly what that article is about.
Yeah. And to find out more, y'all need to subscribe to AmazonsFitMag.com and go read it for yourself. More print copies are coming out soon. I'm working with Mixem, who's going to come out with a print link where they can order the magazine from the website, the print copy. And of course, I got copies in stock. So just hit me up and you can order your copy. Theresa, I want to thank you. Really appreciate you. All the best over the next 4 weeks. I'll be watching. Get out there on the West Coast. It's tough, man. I mean, I really wish more shows, specifically in North Carolina. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject.
But they are doing that movie. The movie now for the Olympia. So
have they? Has anyone approached you about, hey, Theresa, can you give us a story?
It's probably still in the works, for it. I don't know too much about it. I just seen that it was posted from Dan. So I think that's really, really cool that they're doing that it is the 60th and, it is going back to Vegas. So that'll be interesting.
It'll be a huge throwback. A lot of people going to be there from the legends and everything.
That's why it'll be an honor to be there. That's why, you got to work so hard to make this happen.
Well, I really appreciate you. An incentive. Olympia qualification bonus is in the works, so go get it. I want to give you the last word. I didn't want to keep this. I want to keep this right at 30 minutes so you can get your rest and get up and do what you need to do tomorrow. What are your last thoughts?
I just want to say thank you to you. Because without you, we haven't seen a shine on female bodybuilding in a very long time. And I remember meeting you for the first time and the vision you had, and it was kind of doubtful. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going in the right direction type thing or whatever. And you went with it because you already had the vision and you went with it. And, it was an honor to be on the first cover, for you, and then create the friendship, that we've had. And then
first
for you
Olympian
to offer,
on the cover.
the ambassador, sponsorship for, the women's bodybuilding. And it's an honor to be amongst, those women too. And your very first time sponsoring someone. So we value and appreciate everything that you do. All the fans that support the site. I've watched your reels go up. I've watched, the platform go up. So you're just getting started.
I got to keep it going. But I really appreciate you. What made you say yes to the photo shoot? Because when I first hit you, I'm like, man. I was trying to figure out what did I say to make you say yes. Because I need to bottle that.
Because you know why? I think, when you came out and you said, this is for a magazine. And I mentioned, I think it was a couple months prior to that, I made a post. And in
Right.
this post, I don't know if you saw it or not, but it was saying that I'm sad that I never got a chance to be in a magazine, let alone like a front cover. And it was something else, like on that little blueprint that I told you I always wanted to do everything. That was one
Right.
thing that could never get checked off because everything went away. And then here you come and you're like, I beg to differ. Like, we're going to do
Yep.
this. And I'm printing these magazines. And I'm like, I'm in. You know, and I'm all about taking risks and talking to different people and meeting different people because that's how you network. You know, that's
Right.
how you grow. And I answer everybody, whether it ends up being a yes or a no. But I'm forever thankful that I went and did that. And I'm thankful for you reaching out to me.
Well, I really appreciate you. You are a great marketer. I mean, everybody wants to sponsor you, so that part was easy. So I mean, 'cause you got that it factor that's gonna and that brand that you built, and can't anybody touch it.
Nope.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, bud.
Go kill him.
I will.